Hi, Alberto. It's Ryan from 2minutetennis.net. Hey, thank you so much for the opportunity to do this video stroke analysis lesson for you on your forehand. So you're obviously a really good player, and so this is going to be short and sweet, but I think really impactful. Let's get right into it. The first thing I want to show you are actually two things that I think you really do well. So two things that I think you do really well are, first, I love how your right hand rises as you're striking the ball. Watch how your right hand before you hit the ball is right here, and then after you hit the ball, it's here. So obviously your hand is going up. Dominic Thiem is the same thing. Venus Williams, very pronounced with this. Serena Williams as well. It's this movement of that non-hitting hand going up as you're hitting, and it actually makes it very easy to catch the racket after contact. This is actually why Dominic Thiem is kind of known for this hand, this non-hitting hand going up. The second thing is that you have this sitting and lifting idea. So if we just kind of look at your head level on this one, there's the top of your head, and then when you contact the ball, now your head is up here. So it's very obvious that your head is going up to contact. And you can see that your upward movement is done by the time you even contact the ball, which is what you want. You don't want to be going up as you hit. You want your body to be done by the time you hit the ball with this leg drive. When you drive down with your legs, your body goes up, kinetic energy goes through the body, the kinetic chain, and it can transfer and we can get power from the ground. So I absolutely love those two things. No matter what we change, keep both of those because they really help to make your forehand great. All right, Alberto. So here are your areas for improvement. Got 4 of them for you. Number 1, we've got to talk about your late racket prep. This is really going to hurt your ability to handle pace and depth. I can't wait to put you side by side with Alcaraz for that comparison. Number 2, we're going to talk about you use too little body coil and your swing is actually too small. I don't get to say this a lot, but I really think you could use more coil and actually a bigger swing to get easy free power. Number 3, your racket face doesn't close enough. This is one of the essential ingredients for hitting great topspin. And last, we're going to talk about your body and racket over rotation. All right, let's get started. All right, Alberto. So first idea, late racket prep. On face value, you and Alcaraz here look very similar, right? And you do, you look very similar. But there's a big difference between the way you prepare your racket and the way Alcaraz prepares his racket. So let's look at Alcaraz's racket, and I'm going to use this green line to show the path of his left hand. His left hand goes back, and I just reversed the video to make him a lefty, but his left hand goes back diagonally. I want you to look at your left hand, and I want you to watch how your left hand goes up, then back. Watch. Your hand goes up, then back. Because your left hand goes like this, it's obviously a longer distance than that. You're doing this on Alcaraz's video. What this means is that when a ball comes really fast to you, if you go straight up and then back, you will be late compared to if you just go up diagonally. Alcaraz would never reach number one in the world if he was having to go up first before he went back. The pace of the ball coming in would be too much for him. But he doesn't do that. He goes back, and you can see it right there. He goes back diagonally as he lifts the racket. And you did this repeatedly. It just wasn't on this ball. So when you take your racket back, you can see the first move is up. The first move is straight up. Your racket at the beginning, the racket stays in front of you. If you look at Alcaraz right here, the first move his racket makes is this. And we can see the racket, or see his face through his strings right there. Your racket, because your hand makes that move, so does your racket. Your racket goes straight up, then it goes back. Racket goes straight up, then it goes back. Now, we'll get back to the video in just a second, but first, if your level of play is plateaued, you're just not getting better, or you're just not improving at the rate you'd like, and maybe you are taking lessons with a local pro, but it just doesn't seem to be helping, then send me an email, ryan@2minutetennis.net, and we can hop on a 10-minute phone call, and I can talk to you about getting your game analyzed on video. Whether you'd like me to analyze your serve, or your forehand, your backhand, your net game, or maybe your footwork, or even a whole match. Let's say you've got SwingVision, or even if you just record yourself playing matches, you send me the footage, I will analyze your entire game, putting you side by side with the pros, showing you what you're doing correctly and what you need to change to gain confidence and start winning more matches. So send me an email, ryan@2minutetennis.net. You and I can exchange phone numbers, we'll hop on a quick 10-minute call, and we can see if video analysis is right for you. The second idea, Alberto, too little body coil, and the swing is actually too small. So let's talk about the body coil first. We're going to show you from the side and from the back view. And if you notice, when Alcaraz takes his racket back and he does that diagonal movement with his racket up diagonally, he also does it with his right hand on the throat of the racket. When you lift your racket straight up, your right hand's on the throat, but then the racket goes back by itself. So when his racket is right here, you can see that his racket is right by his head. Your racket is right by your head. So you both have the racket in the same place, but you're reaching with your right hand toward the camera. His right hand is still on the racket. That allows him to coil more and show his back, especially the back of his right shoulder, to the opponent. This is something you're simply not doing. You're not getting enough body coil, which you can then uncoil and get a lot more racket speed. From the back view, see how your racket's going straight up? That's that idea of straight up, and then the racket comes back toward the camera. And you look at Alcaraz, it does both of those movements at the same time, right? That's that diagonal line. Now, talking about the coil with that right hand on the throat of the racket, from the back view, I want you to notice, this is, a back view for both of you. I want you to look at your elbow and how from the camera's view here, it's always to the left of your shoulder. But we look at Alcaraz when he turns, and this is how you can keep that right hand on the throat of the racket as you turn and coil. You'll notice how straight your arm is and how bent his arm is. Now, it gets straight by the time he contacts the ball. So this isn't an idea of straight arm versus bent arm, but this is just a case of coiling more. But I want you to look at this right here. If I draw his back, then here's his elbow. His elbow protrudes out. Your elbow should be visible back here. You have to feel, Alberto, like you are elbowing someone behind you. This is going to show your back, especially the back of your right shoulder, to your opponent. You don't have enough coil in order to uncoil and get a ton of racket speed. The main idea here is, yes, you want to go back diagonally, but do it with your right hand on the throat of the racket. And while you're doing that, feel like you're elbowing someone behind you. You'll notice where your hand is. Your hand is really far away from your stomach in the demonstration. But look where Alcaraz has his. If I draw his body, just like yours, his is inside the frame of his body. Your hand is to the outside of the frame of your body. You can afford to take your racket farther back. We definitely don't want the swing to be too small, too much muscle recruitment, too prone to injury. You're having to almost grip the racket hard just to get racket speed because you don't have a big enough swing. So I want you to feel on your take back. Yeah, you can see how far away that racket is. There's so much distance. And you can see when Alcaraz takes the racket back, the racket's so close to his head. So feel like when you take it back, like you elbow someone behind you. It'll facilitate more coil. It'll also allow for a bigger swing because you can afford it because your swing is actually too small, and you'll get more efficient power without so much muscle recruitment. Now, Alberto, the next idea is closing the racket face. Closing the racket face simply means tilting the strings down toward the ground as if the racket is a mirror and you're going to reflect the ground. So let's take this forehand that you miss and you hit into the net. When we look at the racket as it drops, we see that the racket is slightly open and that the racket face is reflecting, not directly straight across, but definitely not up, a few degrees up. We could basically balance a coin on the top edge of the racket. When you look at Alcaraz, when he's hitting his forehand, you see this, and his strings are tilted down. Now, one of the keys to this is to connect your brain to the feeling of your hand. In general, where your palm faces is where your strings face. So the idea is very simple. Alcaraz feels like his palm is facing down, right there, and that's why his strings are facing down. Your palm has the feeling of being straight over, so your palm over, so your strings feel like they're going over. Now, the reason a closed racket face is beneficial in hitting topspin is because it allows the racket to really swing up, which you can see on this forehand. He finishes up above his head, kind of like Nadal. But with the racket closed like this, he can then swing up a ton. Because your strings are facing over to the side, and really I should say slightly up, it forces you to have to kind of roll the racket as you hit. And the feeling is kind of coming over the top of the ball. But really all that does is just close off the ball and you end up hitting the net. We want the strings to point down prior to hitting. And when your strings point down, you're able to swing up for a lot of spin. Here's a great video of Halep showing you this. So here her racket face is closed, palm is down. And notice at contact, her strings are facing forward. But look at the path of her racket. Her racket does this. Racket's going up. So if we take the line of the ball, so there's the ball right there. Her racket's below the line, and now her racket's above the line. Her racket's going up like that. So the whole idea is that you don't swing the direction you want the ball to go. You want to swing up with your strings facing forward, and that's what imparts the spin on the ball. The way to swing up during contact for consistency and topspin and height and depth and all that, net clearance, making sure you don't hit the net, which is the most common miss, is to tilt the strings down. So closing the racket more, feeling like your palm is facing toward the ground as the racket's down, allows you to swing up and put a ton of spin and net clearance and depth on the shot to make it more difficult for the opponents. Alberto, the last idea is over rotation, both from the body and the racket. But we can really solve this with focusing on one thing. But let's look at the forehand. And I want you to look where the tip of the racket is pointing. The tip of your racket is pointing about there. You're behind the baseline. And the tip of your racket is pointing inside the court. Your racket wraps around so much, and you can see it right here. The tip of your racket actually points forward into the court. When you're done hitting a forehand, I actually want you focusing on being done here, right there, right there. Notice the tip of your racket is pointing back. That's it. Notice your chest is basically facing forward. That's it. I don't want you to have so much rotation that your racket continues and wraps around your back like this. Here's a great view of Dominic Thiem. Just made him a lefty. And notice when he's done where the tip of the racket is pointing. Tip of the racket pointing directly to the back fence. Butt cap pointing at Diego Schwartzman. All right, Alberto, here are your forehand solutions. Number one, take the racket back diagonally. So not straight up and then back. It's got to go back diagonally. Now, as mentioned, when you do this, it'll feel so weird and different that you'll swear it's not even going up. You'll swear it's just going back, because players who do what you do, going straight up, then taking it back, when they finally take it back like Alcaraz, when you show them the video, they said, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I was going up, because in order to go diagonally, I had to feel like I was going straight back and not even rising. So that's the feeling you got to have, and you'll do it correctly. I do want you to go diagonally, but in order to do it, I want you to attempt really just going straight back. Number 2, when you take the racket back, do it with both hands. So keep that right hand on farther. What that means is you're going to show your back to the opponent, or at least the back of your right shoulder. So you'll feel a lot more coiled. And I want you to feel like you're elbowing someone behind you. This is going to get your arm farther back so that when you drop the racket, you have a bigger swing. I don't get to say it often. I can't remember the last time I said it. You have a swing that is too small. You muscle your forehand, and you really could be getting a lot more power with less effort if you just took a slightly bigger swing. Is it possible to have a swing that's too big? Of course. But it's also possible to have a swing that's too small. So that's what this is going to fix. Number 3, tilt your palm down toward the ground and then swing more up, right? A little more low to high to get a little more spin, height, depth, all that. The reason we want to tilt the palm toward the ground is the palm correlates very nicely with where the strings are pointing. So as the racket's dropping, if you just feel like your palm is toward the ground, your strings will be down toward the ground. You want the strings about 45 degrees closed. Again, it depends on how fast and flat you're trying to hit. But if you're really trying to arc it and spin it and hit a heavier ball, then closing the racket face is going to be critical. And last, I want you to point, when you're done in the finish, point the butt cap at the opponent. Also, that's the same thing as tip at the back curtain, whichever one of those makes most sense to you. But you shouldn't have the butt cap of the racket pointing to the curtain behind you and the tip of the racket pointing forward to your left, like on the court to the left of you. Way too much follow through. There's no need to have that much follow through and that much rotation. And it just is going to make you late to go to the net if you have to, upon hitting a really good forehand, start getting your body weight going forward and attacking, because it's going to take you too long to get out of that finish to finally get your body weight going forward. Alberto, thank you so much again for the chance to do this video stroke analysis lesson for you on your forehand. You're obviously a really good player, so I don't think this should take you much time at all. I think my goal for you would be, 8 weeks, 2 weeks per idea. It should take you 2 straight weeks working on each idea one at a time in the order in which I gave them to you for you to get this. So taking the racket back diagonally, that should be 2 weeks. Now, when you're doing these things individually, you're not thinking of the next thing. So I don't want you tomorrow going out worried about your racket face closing. It's not what I want you to do. I actually want you to build this one shot or one idea at a time. Alberto, you work on these ideas in the order in which I gave them to you, and there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2MinuteTennis.net. Alberto, you got this.